Selamat kembali. Hadirin yang dihormati, forum akan diteruskan dengan sesi perbincangan pertama bertajuk Isu Warga Emas di Malaysia, satu gambaran keseluruhan. Majlis dengan ini mempersilakan Dr. Chu Chi Ming, Pesuruhjaya Suhakam yang akan bertindak sebagai moderator. Barisan panel iaitu Profesor Madya Dr. Rahimah binti Ibrahim, Pengarah Institut Penyelidikan Penuaan Malaysia, Universiti Putra Malaysia UPM, Datuk Dr. Sun Ting Kueh, Presiden National Council of Senior Citizen Organisation NASCOM, Profesor Naden Waitialingam, Dekan Perdana University School of Occupational Therapy untuk naik ke pentas. Dipersilakan.
A very good morning. It's my honor to moderate this session on the issue Warga Emas in Malaysia. Professor Dato' Norma Mansor has set a stage for us with a vision of Malaysia having a social protection scheme. Right? In the panel here this morning will go to the ground and give an overview of the issue that affecting the Warga Emas in Malaysia. First, we have Professor Madya Dr. Rahimah, who is the director of the Aging Institute, Research Institute at the University Putra, Malaysia. She has extensive knowledge in research on aging, and it was involved in the Aged Care Facilities and Services Act 2017, I think I invite her to give her 15 minutes presentation, and then followed by the other panel before we follow by question and answer. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Chu, as the chairperson for this session. Dato' Sun, Prof. Dr. Naden, as fellow discussants, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm Rahimah Ibrahim from the Malaysian Research Institute on Aging, or known as My Aging. We are located at the University Putra, Malaysia. So let me begin with the question. Siapakah warga emas? Who is an older person? This question lingers in the minds of many people because we want to know whether it starts at 60 or 65. And it has been deliberated in many occasions on the streets, on the meetings, and even at round policy decision making meetings. So regardless of the age, because we have many different ways of measuring age, and chronological age alone does not describe who exactly is an older person, especially in terms of their function. So age is just a social category, and the cutoffs that we use are arbitrary. So any decision, like when we use 60 or 65, it's basically a policy decision. So let's not be too bogged down by the who, and especially when we are going to be an aged or aging nation, aging or aged nation. So basically, Who is an older person? We are an older person. We are becoming an older person in our lifetime, inshallah, if we live long enough, yeah? If we survive to old age. Yeah? So everyone, every person will become old, yeah, if he or she survives to old age. And because of the stigma and denial of aging, yeah, many older person faces ageism or discrimination because of their age. Okay, sorry. So some basic statistics on population aging in Malaysia. Yeah? Population aging in Malaysia basically, we are, the basic message here is that we are growing in terms of the number and proportion of older persons. But this, the nature of population aging varies by several factors. Yeah? So you can see that there are many more older women compared to men, because of the life expectancy of women is higher than men, and also that there are many more older persons in the urban centers, yeah, urban areas, but the challenges of rural aging is definitely real for those who are left behind in the rural areas. Yeah? And of course, the population aging also differ by ethnicity, yeah? Because the Chinese population are aging first, yeah? Compared to other ethnic groups. And we can see also that, a lot of older persons are still working because they could not afford to retire. So, as we are talking about who is an older person, again, the issue of when are we going to become an aged society, yeah? As though this is a milestone that we have to reach somehow in our life. But basically, the demarcations, yeah, of aging society or aged society or even hyper-aged society are based on the works of demographers. So you can use the cutoff age of 60 or 65, and also based on the projections that are made by the Department of Statistics or using the World Population Prospects, these estimations can change. Yeah? The distributions of older persons by state, yeah, is also varies. Yeah? There is a variation of the distribution of older persons by state down to the mukim level. So this implies that we need to take into account the demographic aspects into local planning in order to make our cities and communities more age-friendly. Right? And again, the issue of we are saying that, of course, the family size is shrinking, and a lot more older persons are living alone. But what we found here is that not only older persons living alone, the numbers or the proportion have remained relatively stable, but we are seeing an increase in the number of households that have only older persons. It means that, older persons it's not just about older persons living alone, but older persons living with another older person. when we talk about poverty, because there is also an association of households with older persons to be associated with poverty. But we are seeing that through this calculation, the household size is very important to be considered when we are measuring poverty. Because, you know, as we take into account the household size, the households without older persons, in total are higher in terms of poverty compared to households with older persons. But of course, the households with older person is below the total number of households below the poverty line. Okay. When we talk about poverty, it's also relevant to talk about access to care. So a lot of the care provided to older persons are being met by family caregivers. Family members are the major provider of care for older adults. But what we are concerned now is the unmet care needs. People who are poor or too sick or do not have any means, for example, transportation to access the services that they require, and this will result in unmet care needs, and of course this will affect their quality of life, and the rights of a human being. So as we look into the care economy, we are also concerned about the growing number of adult care dependent population. Talking about aged care, this is the stylized conceptualization of aged care in Malaysia. We have, of course, we have the institutionalization versus the home and community-based care. And we learn the lessons from more developed countries that institutionalization is not the way to go, the way forward for care in Malaysia, because it's very costly. But in Malaysia, we are also seeing more and more private sectors and also NGOs entering the landscape of aged care in Malaysia, and we have to look into the aspects of real estate, hospitality, medicine, and also law when we think about aged care in Malaysia. There are laws governing the situation of aged care in Malaysia, namely the Care Centre Act, the 506, the Private Healthcare Facilities and Services Act, Act 586, and now we have the Private Aged Healthcare Facilities and Services Act, Act 802, which is not yet enforced. We also have the guidelines for physical development for older persons, which is currently being reviewed by Ministry of Housing and Local Government. Okay, there are a lot of policy development in Malaysia, starting from 1995, the National Policy of Older Persons. And we also have the National Health Policy for Older Persons under the Ministry of Health. And yesterday, Ministry of Health launched the reviewed plan of action for the elderly, for older persons, for the National Health Policy of Older Persons, as well as the National Dementia Plan of Action. So, coming back to the UN principles of older persons, these principles have been the basis of a lot of strategies and also frameworks guiding the development of policies and programs of older persons. So the first pillar is independence, followed by participation, care, self-fulfillment, and dignity. And of course, this year is the theme of United Nations International Day of Older Persons is Aging with Dignity, yeah, and it's focusing on the aspects of support and care for older adults. And under the United Nations Decade of Healthy Aging as well, the focus is on combating ageism, age-friendly environments, integrated care, and also long-term care. And these are the 4 action areas of the United Nations Decade of Healthy Aging, which will complete in 2030. Yeah? So integrated care and long-term care are the 2 key action areas alongside age-friendly environments and also combating ageism. So what is ageism? Ageism refers to how we think, feel, and act towards others or ourselves based on age. So it can lead to stereotypes, prejudice, and discrimination of people on the basis of their age. So how can we combat this? Through policies and laws, educational activities, as well as intergenerational intervention, not just in the family, community, but also in the workplace. So we want to see more multi-generational workforce. Yeah? So in ASEAN, yeah, there are key regional instruments that affirm and promote the rights and welfare of older persons. ASEAN +3 statement on active aging, yeah, in 2016, adopted in Vientiane, Laos, as well as, so there are rights of older persons in ASEAN. There is ASEAN Human Rights Declaration in 2012, the ASEAN Declaration of Strengthening Social Protection in 2013, Brunei Darussalam Declaration on Strengthening Family Institutions, Caring for the Elderly in 2010, the Regional Framework and Action Plan to implement the ASEAN Declaration on Strengthening Social Protection in 2015, and we have, the Kuala Lumpur Declaration on Aging, on empowering older persons in ASEAN in 2015. So these are the regional plan of actions on aging, and My Aging and the Department of the National Population and Family Development Board established a ASEAN-wide research network on aging, or ARNA. Yeah? So basically, countries in the ASEAN region are aging at different stages and also levels of development. So this is the document from Empowering Older Persons in ASEAN 2015, Kuala Lumpur Declaration on Aging. The third aspect is to promote the rights-based or needs-based and life cycle approach and eliminate all forms of maltreatment on the basis of old age and gender through equitable access of older persons to public services, income generation, healthcare services, and essential information, as well as preventive measures, legal protection, and effective support system. So this is contained in the ASEAN document, Kuala Lumpur Declaration on Aging. So we have, the UN passes a landmark resolution to protect the human rights of older person, which this is on, in September 2024. Yeah? There's the open-ended working group on aging for the purpose of strengthening the protection of the human rights of older persons, passes this resolution. Yeah? And the resolution marks a historic step towards step forward in safeguarding the rights of older people. So we are now on the cusp of establishing a legally binding international convention for human rights of older persons. So Suhakam has been pushing this agenda for the rights of older persons since 2005. Yeah? We are here in 2005, where there is a report. Sorry, the seminar was probably much earlier than the date of this publication. So there's one publication on aging with dignity, and also a report on the care services for older persons and support for caregivers by Suhakam. Yeah. Okay, what do we want? Yeah? What are we pushing for? Yeah? We want to have a Madani society for all ages. So we're talking about masyarakat Madani. Yeah? Let it be a society for all ages. Yeah? We want 2/3 of the parliamentarians to support to add age to non-discrimination clause in the federal constitution. So this is the low-hanging fruit that we can push for. Yeah? To add age as a basis for no non-discrimination. Gender was added in July 2001. Other priorities that we are also championing is, of course, to have some legal framework or legal instrument for elder abuse and neglect to protect older persons at home or in institution, the Mental Capacity Act, and also Re-employment Act as a mechanism to ensure that older persons remain active and productive as long as they can. Okay, so this is our call, yeah, in this session. And let me leave you with the last slide. So aging is not about sickness, frailty, or disability. Yeah? Aging is not only about sickness, frailty, or disability, because we are looking at the longevity economy, and in America alone, yeah, this longevity economy is estimated to value, the estimated value is between $7 to $9 trillion. Yeah? Because of our longer life, so we need to plan better. So we need to plan financially, and we need to have more financial products that can ensure that we achieve good quality of life in old age, especially in terms of long-term care insurance, healthcare facilities, and as well as good relationship with families and friends, and also to adapt, yeah, to the situation of aging at home. Yeah. So we are looking at, we should not be looking at only care, functional limitations, yeah, but because there are a lot more older persons who are actively, who remain active until their 80s and 90s. So we have to look at the new business strategies, or a new market of the silver industry, and also the care industry. Yeah. So with that, I thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Rahima. I think we're allowed one or two quick questions before we proceed to the second speaker. If no question, I proceed to Dr. Sung Ti Kwek, who is the President of the National Council of Senior Citizen Organization, NASCOM. He's going to talk about the challenges and neglect. Warga Emas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chiu, my fellow panelist, Professor Nathan from Banana University, Associate Professor Rahima from My Aging UPM. I want to thank Suhakam for inviting me today to share our thoughts and experience dealing with senior citizens in Malaysia. All right? So, NASCOM was founded in 1990, and with our founding president, Dato' Lam Kintap, is really a true staunch supporter of aging population in Malaysia. And we have 41 affiliates. That means 41 senior citizen clubs and associations throughout Malaysia. Total membership of 20,000. All right. The main purpose of course, I talk Suhakam pula, of NESCOM, all right, is to encourage, support senior citizens to remain in the mainstream of society. They should not retire and then live in a secluded area for themselves. They still have to be active and play an active role in the daily life. All right? To promote healthy and productive aging. This is in line with our government policy. To represent the senior citizen community on matters related to their well-being. Actually, after I show you, we were represented in the Majlis Penasihat dan Perundingan Warga Emas Negara. All right? So we carries the views of senior citizens to the government through the Ministry of Women and Community Development. And then we support the welfare and well-being of senior citizens. All right? This is our current council. We elect council. The council have an AGM every year, but the council were elected once in every 2 years. All right? So as I said, we represent the senior citizen community in this Majlis. We are also a member of the HelpAge International, which is an international body. Okay, the international body on aging, and the two photos are the recent Asia Pacific Regional Conference being held in Bali. All right, and NESCOM itself had an old folks home in Star Park. All right, and we have been having it for the last 20 years. So aging population issue, I think everybody actually more or less recognize by 2030, 15% of our population will be 60 years and above. This is an aged nation. All right, and this is a demographic change. You will see more older people at the top, lesser people, the younger generation, because of the low fertility rate, 1.93. So this is comparison 2010 to 2040. All right, and these have very important social economic implication. All right, by 2030, there will be one younger person, 5 adults working, and then 2 older people to support. And I read somewhere, maybe it's true in Malaysia too, by the year 2050, will be 1, 2, and 1. All right? 2 working persons supporting 1 younger and 1 older. That means only 50% of the population will be working. All right, so NESCOM looked into various issues regarding aging population. First, of course, social well-being and financial security. Second, medical and long-term care. And third, we use the word enabling environment, including housing, transportation, leisure for healthy living. First is social well-being. What are the factors, what are the items that ageism, as our previous speaker have said, neglect and discrimination. All right? ageism is a phenomenon where people regard older people as incapable, they are frail, sickly, and many other negative. Well, there's no denying that everybody age. Our bodily function will deteriorate, but we still consider ourselves as being healthy. Many of my members, 60 and above, they are all still healthy, active, and able to do things by itself. All right? And then neglect. This is another, I think, very important factor coming on. Many of the older folks are staying at home, and there's nobody in the house to look up to, talk to, and the children are busy working, the younger generation going to school, and very often neglect is another one of the major factors affecting seniors. And the third one is discrimination based on your age. Many years ago, during COVID-19, there's one supermarket chain that if you are above 60, you are not allowed to enter the supermarket. I don't know what is the reason, all right? All right, so we were thinking that how to combat this negative implication to aging. First of all, I always remind our senior citizens to be active, to come out, all right, mix with people, enjoy life, and there are many things we can do, all right. Civil society organization can establish. We form senior citizen clubs or association. In other countries, they have the old person association, all right? Under the rural area, the older person will get together and then they'll discuss things and do some small business, so on and so forth, all right? Resident association is one, woman club, there are many others. All right, if you like singing, you can form a musical group, so on and so forth. All right, so role of CSO, civil society organization, the family, I think, plays the most important role in the care of the aged. Then comes the community. The community also have to play an active part. You should know what is happening within the community. If somebody in a particular household gets sick and require help and he's alone, our community action may be able to help him or even save his life. And then we have the civil society to give all kinds of support, including food and financial support. And then the government have actually a very important role to play. And I also include international organization. All right? Financial security in aging population. This is going to be a very big issue in Malaysia. All right? Malaysia, we have divided into the former worker. All right? There are two categories, the government pensioner, and those former workers in organizations that contribute to EPF, Employees Provident Fund. All right? Then we have the informal worker and the unemployed or the self-employed. And very often, the later year, the retirement year, the pension year, they depend on their personal saving. But most of the Asian family are coming together to, the old folks are staying with the children and the grandchildren, all right? But that situation is only slowly changing, all right? So personal saving, all right? The government does do a number of schemes to help. One of them we know is the Bantuan Orang Tua, all right? The Bantuan Orang Tua where you get, I think now you get 500 ringgit every month, but this is limited to, I think, about 100,000 people. And the application needs to satisfy various strict condition. And then there are other social welfare schemes. But I think as all of you are aware, due to the COVID pandemic, many of the EPF contributors have drawn their saving, their retirement saving, and now they are left with very little money, all right? Not enough to cover their retirement years. And that's another issue which I think we are talking to the government. I think our earlier speaker, Professor, mentioned that some social protection scheme that the government may want to look into, all right? All right? So one of the things we are discussing, proposing is social pension, all right? Social pension for those housewives, those unemployed, that this is part of the government, especially for those elderly poor, right? B40. Then there is also this provision of private pension fund, which even unemployed or what can contribute to protect your retirement years. All right? So CSR, I think this is one aspect where the private sector can contribute to help to a certain extent to elevate poverty, to help the senior citizen in this country. I just have two more slides. One is talking about technological innovation that is happening very rapidly. The senior citizens have also to adopt and subscribe to this something they call it digitalization, and very often we are at a loss. All right? The innovation, the technology development is too fast. All right? Previously, we go to the bank and do everything. Now they want you to do online, and then now everything have to be digital. All right? And then the development of the social media. All right? Social media is actually now part of our life. All right? While it is actually very functional, educational, all right? Connecting people together. Now you can talk to your children over the phone where he or she is overseas. All right? Help, you can look for Google for various help tips, and then you can even go to buy food or entertainment. I think we are living in a world of this social media situation. So I want to end here with just telling the senior citizen in this country, in a way, in a lucky group, in the sense that we have the family that is with us. But on the other hand, I advise my senior citizen colleague to be independent, right? To have their own saving, all right? So that in case anything, you can cover yourself. But another thing we want to say that the government have a role to play, all right? Especially for the poor. They have to come up with some social protection scheme, right? To protect those that are unable. So with that, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Dato' Sun. Maybe we proceed to the third speaker. Okay, I think we have a discussion afterwards. Professor Nathan is very well known among us. I think he was involved in the Sohakam panel in Penang earlier in the year. Professor Nathan is talk today is on healthy aging. He's a dean of the Perdana University of School of Occupational Therapy and a founder of the Malaysian Healthy Aging Society. Without further ado, Prof. Nathan.
Thanks very much, Dr. John. I mean, obviously, Dr. John is very well known in the medical circle. He was former MMA president as well. Prof. Rahima, my colleague, and Dr. Soon. Thanks very much to Wakam for inviting me, especially to Siti Rayu, who's always been communicating with me regarding this seminar. My question was very simple. Very often we use this word healthy aging, active aging, longevity, etc. But it's important to realize what it is before we move on, because very often people have got a very simple notion that it is only what you call exercise and diet. It's far more than that. Yeah? So if you look at it, the important aspect is your physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being. In spiritual point of view, it's nothing to do with religion. It's searching for yourself. Very often you want to know who you are, why you are, and when you come to a certain age, you wonder what is your area of things that you look at. So to define it, there's so many definitions of healthy aging. So if you look at it, the process and maintaining oneself to be functionally capable of being independent, that's what you want at the end of the day of your life. You know, when you look at it, when you have for instance, when we have a patient who's had a stroke or has some illness processes, they want to know whether they can get up and walk. They're not interested in the type of stroke they had. So they want the functional outcome to live independently, and that's what, when you get old, if you get old, that's what you're looking for. And the important factor to realize, there are changes that take place in your life, you know. You understand that there's a transition period that takes place, there are changes in capabilities. You've got to accept the fact after a certain age, your capabilities may go down because of changes. We sometimes do not accept that. And the other important, in social role changes as well that takes place. The three spectrums of aging that generally is divided these days is the young, old, middle, old, and old. You know, I'm glad to say I'm still in the young, old category. I haven't moved on into an older old yet. I'm sure some of you here are, but it makes no difference, because at the end of the day, it's you that takes into account. Now, what is it that you look for in healthy aging? The longevity? You want to live longer, but you're bedridden, you need care? Or do you want to have a good social life in aging factor that's so important? The intergenerational mix as well, it's so important. It's actually frightening. The intergenerational relationships are slowly integrating and dying down. We used to have a very good extended family system. What's happened to it? Everybody wonders. It's a beautiful study to look at, and whether you have a good body health to look at. So the processes of healthy aging is magnitude. I will not bore you with it, but you've got to accept the fact, the number of factors that play a part in you. You know, obviously your health characteristics is so important, your underlying age-related aspects. You want to look at your personal characteristics, whether genetically you also it's a contributing factor towards your longevity of your life. So your functional outcome, your intrinsicity, capacity as well plays a part. What is predetermined at birth? You know, my fear now is that what the war is taking place in the Middle East or in Russia and everything, the younger generation is going to be strongly affected, and obviously it's going to consider looking at their lifespan is going to be affected as well. So influence and experiences in the womb stages itself plays a strong part, you know. So you want to look at the environment as well. You look at the age factors that plays a part. You look at other factors, including education or one's education. Does education contribute to you? Yes, it does. Many of us feel that older you are well educated you are quite sure of healthy aging. I'm sorry to say you're not, because the worst group is actually the medical profession. We do not age healthily. I'm sure Dr. John Chu will agree with us. We take it for granted with our lives. And you look at some of the other aspects of things, the intrinsic aspects of capacity that is related to attributes towards your illness processes. You also realize there's so many other factors that contribute. It's not just diet and exercise that you're going to age healthily. The important factor is the first generation of the mother. To me, the mother is the most important thing. You've got a healthy mother, you're going to have a healthy child, healthy adult, healthy old age. Simple. It's a very simple thing. So the important aspect should be given to women and care, in terms of those sort of things. The other important factor is there's so many different theories of aging. You have the genetic theories, your free radical theories developed by Lester Parker, and all this, whether you like it or not, relates and comes down to some form of illness processes in your life. So actually, when do you age? When do you age? 30, 40, 50? Or when you have menopause or andropause, or when you stop having sexual relationships, or when you retire? No, actually you start. One of the theories of aging to us that we look at is when your growth spurt stops. When your growth spurt stops, you're looking at the age of 16, 17. From that time period, you're looking at aging processes that take place in you. So the concept of theories of aging is magnitude. It is not just straightforward as what it is. And this diagram clearly tells you the aspects of, integrative aspects of things that take place in your life. Now, what are the important factors you need to look at is, you're looking at the health characteristics, and you're looking at different aspects. You have to take care of your own health. Simple. It is your responsibility. It's not your family responsibility. It's not the government's responsibility. You take care of your own health. Regular checkups are so very important. Whether you have got disability, when I always talk about healthy aging, is only people who are ambulant and ambulatory and walking. It's not true. It's people who have got disabilities as well age, and they too age gracefully. LGBT community ages as well. The important factor now that a lot of emphasis is being placed is on mental health. You read it every day. I don't have to tell you. The younger generation also goes through tremendous stress level, and aspects of mental health issues are far beyond than anything else. What are the personal characteristics? Your gender. Women generally are more conscious of health and aging. Men are useless. They're very dependent on the women. It's the women who chase the men to go to the clinics very often. I'm telling you that's true. The race, certain races age healthier. They're more conscious of themselves, and there's an education itself. So at the end of the day, what do you want is the functional outcomes. That's all. You want to be able to make your bed, go to shopping, do the ironing. ADL is the most important thing, and your IADL. So your ADL, independent living, you can score 100 on it, well and good. You don't have to worry about anything at all. So functional ability is what you want when you age. You want, what else? A clean environment. If you take the blue zones in the world, the 5 blue zones, it's because of clean environment. The nearest to us is Okinawa in Japan. Now, I'm sorry to tell you, is KL has good environment? Obviously not. We will die faster because of pollution, etc. So important to realize, and I'm glad that these days people are becoming more aware of plastic bags and keeping away. All this contributes to aging healthily itself. But you want a clean environment like this, Can it be achieved? Yes, it can be achieved. But do we really take care and look into it? Housing. Very often, the housing has become something. So you want to age in place. You want to age in your own home. I have nothing against nursing homes. I have nothing against retirement villages. You're nothing like aging in your own house. So you're looking at your home satisfaction. You're looking at accessibility of your house. If I have a stroke, can I go upstairs? Or do I go downstairs? And if I go downstairs, do I have a room downstairs? And if I have a room downstairs, the maid is occupying that room. What happens now? The maid goes upstairs and you go downstairs. So the change takes place in one's life. So you need to also look at the barriers in one's life. The aspects of filial piety is so very important. And you realize that this is a very, we can have a total discussion on this, and this again also contributes to aging healthily itself. The determinants of healthy aging, you'll be surprised, is this picture explains to you everything. You have got everything to look at: age, gender, you're looking at urbanization, religion, everything plays a part. So depending on the circle that you are looking at and you want to improve. So very clear to me, it is just far beyond sometimes of reach of everybody, but we need to realize that this is possible, and you start working on it, you will age healthily. The family is so very important, the dynamic, the fertility aspects, the migration does contribute to it. The stress level put when people migrating, they don't realize this. The population itself, you're looking at poverty in children, obviously to age older, they're going to be affected. Religion plays a part. You know, I always tell my students, the people going to the church, mosques, and temples after a certain age is mainly because of socialization. They realize when they go to the church, mosque, or temple, they can meet their friends and have a good chat. You know, and that's a very useful thing, and you should encourage that. Urbanization becomes a problem as well, and women, to me, it's very important to play a part towards healthy aging and contribution to the society. We talk about aging as if it is only for older people. What about healthy aging for the young? And this should actually start be instilled in school level. And that's where it plays a part. So if you're going to look at policies, hey, hang on, start looking at policies right from womb to tomb. And that's more important. And what we often talk about it, but do we really look at it seriously? So why do you want to get involved in aging areas? It's very simple. We were a signatory in 2012, 2002, the Madrid Plan. 20112, it was revised. I remember sitting in Beijing when we revised it. So there is important factors to look at. You can come up with all the policies. Implementation of those policies, is, to me, is the most important thing. Now, we're supposed to become an aging nation by 2030. As it was mentioned yesterday, I think, by the Minister of Health as well. So that's an important factor to us. You realize that by 2030, originally it was 2050, 2040, and now we're in 2030, so we have fast track to age healthily, becoming an aged nation. So why is it crucial for you and me? It's very easy. Look at this. If you have got a good health system, obviously you're going to have very good individual well-being like you and me. But if your long-term care is so very important and we do not have proper long-term care systems, it's going to be affected as well. So you need to have people with skills and knowledge. The whole country, the number of geriatricians we have, the number of geriatric trained nurses we have, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, it's frightening for a population of 34 million. You know, we need the manpower before we come up with a lot of these things. So you need to look at it very, very seriously, and looking at the environment and looking at age-friendly city. So why do we want to age healthily? It's for the rights. The older people too have rights. I think later Mr. Siladas will be talking to us about it as well. Economic empowerment as well is so very important, and you need to look at it in a bigger picture. So aging for healthy aging, you're dealing with diversity of people. No, you're also dealing with diversity of culture here. Every country goes through this. Reducing inequality in terms of mobility accesses in areas. Every time I walk, I look whether this place is accessible for someone in a wheelchair or with a walking aid. I have got this habit with me because of the nature of my profession. Enabling choice. Do people have choice to age healthily? That's very important. And most important thing is to age in place, age in your own home environment. Now, if you look at this article, it came out so much earlier in 1987 by Professor Paul Chan from University of Malaya, Faculty of Medicine. He predicted a long time ago about the whole aspect of aging. So we had a way ahead to look at it, but we wait We wait till something happens and then we start looking at it. We are already there. If you're talking about 2030, very fast, the clock will tick and you're there in the next pane as well. So there were a number of plan of action. I'm not going to bore you with this, but every time we come up with plan action, whether we actually instill those actions is so very, you can come up with a lot of working papers and policies, whether we're going to instill this into the community itself. It's so very important. So you're looking at promoting and advocacy. You look at lifelong learning. I'm glad UPM, Prof. Emas Place, they all are doing it very well for a lot of people. Safety and security, governance is so very important to look at intergenerational solidarity, and obviously you can't run away without research. You need to have research and development itself. So if you're going to look at this, healthy aging is far beyond, as what you said. You're looking at physical activity. You know, I always ask my students, how often do you do your exercises? Are you on a regular basis? Healthy diet to avoid smoking. You're looking at medication. Polypharmacy is such a big thing among the older generation. They collect drugs all over. And my neighbor tells me to buy this particular supplements, you go and buy. So every supplement you buy, and the company makes the profit out of it. But is it of value to you? That's the most important thing. Oral health. How many of us actually go to the dentist on a regular checkup? You're looking at that's the most important thing, because our nutrition status of older people gets affected. Health screening, regular screening is so very important. Social involvement prevents loneliness and social isolation as well. Mental activities, engagement of oneself, so your cognitive and perceptual abilities are maintained. Immunizations. How many of us think of going for immunization against influenza? Everybody after the COVID-19 vaccine have a problem now getting them back to the importance of vaccination. Shingles are so common among the older generation that can be, again, be helpful by vaccination itself. Your hormones, as you age, you realize your hormones change. You want a clean environment. And lastly, you need a home safety. There are so many things I can go on about it. So it is your responsibility to age healthily. You know that genetic inheritance that plays a part. You know that health characteristics of oneself. You're looking at personal characteristics. Functional capacity is so important in oneself. And obviously, there's intrinsic factors that are the contributing factors. And most important thing is environment that plays into. You move off and you move on to a circle of life. You know, you start off with, as a youth, you move on to adolescence, you move on, and obviously you come into retirement. To me, that's a bad word, retirement, because no one should retire, because one should keep himself mentally engaged. And you come with old age idiosyncrasies sometimes. The age-friendly communities are so important. The age-friendly cities, there are about 33 or 35 age-friendly cities in the world, and there are over 1,000 age-friendly communities. You need to encourage this. I'm glad that in the Malaysian scene, Penang has taken the lead to apply, become an age-friendly city. And what does it help? Financially? Yes, it improves tourism sometimes. Tremendous, because the people who travel mainly are the baby boomers. And if you speak to the tourism industry, they'll tell you that baby boomers, they are the ones. So, and I think Ipoh and Taiping also moving into the same circle, and also in somewhere in Sarawak, Miri itself. So age-friendly cities are something important, and the Malaysian Healthy Aging Society is working with the Penang state government of that. Ageism, I think both my colleagues here just now have spoken about ageism. This is the biggest battle WHO is going through now. It is creeping into society, you know. But sometimes it is not the community that is causing the ageism, it's oneself. You feel old. So you are creating that ageism in you yourself. So please come out of that thing and navigate out of that to say, I'm old, I cannot do things. So please come out of that. Ageism sometimes is individualized as well, besides the community, besides institutions, besides everything. So that's it. I'd just like to end it by a very simple video. You didn't listen, don't bother listen to my talk. This will explain to you everything. Can you replay? Thank you very much. It tells you how short your life is. Enjoy it.
Thank you, Prof. Nathan. We shall open to the floor for discussion of question now. Yes, please mention your name and
Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Terima kasih kepada semua panel atas pembentangan. Saya Dr. Isa daripada Pondok Unais. Pondok Unais adalah pusat pembelajaran warga emas to promote lifelong learning among senior citizens. As we know, there are many benefits of learning, especially for senior citizens, cognitive health, for mental health, improving their social connection, and lowering their stress level, etc. etc. Soalan saya kepada ahli panel, sebagaimana yang kita tahu bahawa kita ada dasar warga emas 2011, dan di dalam objektif nombor 2, dasar warga emas kita menyatakan bahawa untuk memudahkan, dasar itu adalah untuk memudahkan akses pembelajaran sepanjang hayat dalam kalangan warga emas. Soalan saya ialah, sejauh manakah kejayaan pelaksanaan dasar ini untuk warga emas dari tahun 2011 sehingga 2024, selama 13 tahun. Dan saya rasa KKM has reacted wonderfully to this policy dengan pelan tindakan kesihatan warga emas 2023-2020. Hats off to the Minister, Datuk Dr. Zul, dan kita dapat lihat bagaimana KKM mengambil berat dasar ini, dan apabila kita pergi ke hospital, kita ada laluan khas untuk warga emas. Saya bawa mak saya ke hospital, maka senang untuk mendaftar, ada kaunter khas, laluan khas untuk warga emas, dan ambil ubat pun ada kaunter khas untuk warga emas. Sangat bagus. I'm wondering, adakah dari sudut pendidikan, especially macam untuk kemasukan ke universiti, ada laluan khas untuk warga emas? Jadi itu soalan saya, sejauh manakah kejayaan pelaksanaan dasar warga emas ini untuk bidang pendidikan? Terima kasih.
thank you. I think Prof, you want to answer?
Terima kasih kepada yang bertanya soalan tadi daripada Pondok Unais, berkenaan dengan lifelong learning, pembelajaran sepanjang hayat. Memang ada inisiatif seperti di pihak universiti kami membuat program-program pilot lah, program rintis untuk melihat tentang pembelajaran sepanjang hayat di dalam kalangan warga emas. Jadi untuk memulakan pembelajaran sepanjang hayat warga emas ni bukannya mudah, sebab kita nak ubah mindset, ya. Mindset warga emas tu untuk mempelajari sesuatu pada usia tua. Sebab pada sebelum ni dia tak tahu apa, kalau dah sampai usia tua tu dia rasa dah habis dah, tak ada benda baru ataupun tak ada, there's nothing to look forward to, ya. Tapi dengan program pilot yang seperti mana yang telah dijalankan di bawah projek Datuk Tengku Aizan dulu pada tahun awal 2007 begitu, lifelong learning for the elderly, ya. Jadi mereka ni dibawa daripada beberapa tempat dan dikumpulkan untuk datang ke Universiti Putra Malaysia untuk belajar dalam dalam suasana senggang, suasana santai, ya. Bukan belajar untuk degree ataupun sijil lagi, tapi belajar sesuatu, sebab mempelajari sesuatu tu adalah sangat baik, bukan saja untuk kita punya kognitif dan juga kesihatan, ya, kesihatan mental dan juga fizikal. Ia juga memberi peluang kepada warga emas untuk meneroka perkara baru, ya. So most of them yang datang ke UPM masa tu, Institute Gerontology, they are learning something new, something different. Jadi dia ada sesuatu untuk diharapkan, ya. Perubahan minda ini mengambil masa beberapa tahun, ya, sehinggalah program itu maksudnya dapat dimerdekakan sehingga mereka berdaftar sebagai satu persatuan, U3A Malaysia, U3A Kuala Lumpur dan Selangor, dan sekarang U3A Malaysia, ya. Jadi perubahan seperti mana yang kita dengar tadi, penuaan adalah satu perubahan, dan perubahan itu tak semestinya dalam bentuk penurunan. Kita juga boleh mempelajari sesuatu yang baru dari dalam kehidupan kita, dan sebagaimana yang kita tahu, ilmu itu perlu diterokai daripada bayi sehinggalah ke liang lahat, daripada buaian sampailah ke liang lahat, kan. Dan di samping itu di bawah program lifelong learning for the elderly ini telah diterapkan juga di dalam rancangan Malaysia, ya, sebagai satu program untuk meningkatkan penuaan aktif dan produktif dalam kalangan warga emas. Jadi dia telah didokumentkan dalam rancangan Malaysia ke-11, ya. Jadi di situlah kita dapat lihat bahawa JKM, college community, even private sector turut menyumbang ke arah pembelajaran sepanjang hayat ini. Dari segi pelibatan warga emas untuk kemasukan ke universiti, kita tahu ada Open University memang membuka peluang kepada mahasiswa-mahasiswa yang telah berusia untuk melaksanakan pengajian, dan di beberapa universiti lain, USM. Jadi sebenarnya barrier untuk umur terhadap pendidikan ni telah makin berkurangan. Jadi kita boleh belajar sebenarnya sepanjang hayat.
I just want to make a quick comment. You see, isu kesehatan, you memang ada KKM. But lifelong learning, there is no ownership. Right? The Ministry of Women Community Affairs said that it is not under our purview. Then you go to Ministry of Human Resources, they also, all right? Ministry of Education said we are dealing with formal education, all right? School children, university. There is an effort by UC of the third age, U3A, as she mentioned, all right, This is at one time parked with UPM. They do conduct some courses relevant to senior citizen taking up activity in gardening, in hobby, in many other things. That is what, as far as I know. No conscious effort to promote lifelong learning. The university themselves may have conducted some courses privately, but other than that, no government agency have actually taken up this initiative. Thank you. You want to comment?
I think to me it's a definition of lifelong learning, because there are many ways one can learn, and in certain countries, actually within our region, certain countries what they do is they actually, when you become older, they actually fund you to go and do some short courses, which becomes beneficial to the community itself. I've got colleagues of mine who retired, but they end up doing something totally different, learning a new language, not learning Chinese, Tamil, and everything. They went and learned Russian for the sake of learning. So you've got a different way of systems of learning itself, and I think that is something. Pick up something that is of what you want to do as to learn. So learning is within yourself, you know, and I think that's the most important thing. And I fully agree with you, the Kementerian Kesihatan aspects of when you go in, they've got senior citizens counter, but now a lot of the ministries have got that. Even, I don't know whether you notice, even when you go to the airport, when you're queuing up to board the plane, they used to come and call me up because I've got white hair. So they come and call me up to go front of the queue. So I think there are advantages being given to the senior citizens in many ways, but learning is your responsibility. You know it's good for cognitive point of view, it is social interaction, all those things are there. So just pick up something and that becomes beneficial to you.
Thank you. We go for the next question now.
Thank you, Dr. Chew. I think thank all the speakers. It's a very good presentation. A lot of details were covered. But I want to focus on the issue of old age poverty, which I think is one of the biggest issues that our elderly people face. About 70% of the people above the age of 70 don't have any savings left, no source of income, 70%. It's huge. If you think about it, our working population is about 16.5 million working population. 1.5 million are government servants. About 8 million are paying EPF actively. That leaves about 6.5 million people in the workforce who are not government servants, won't get pensions, and not contributing to EPF. You know, they are the small stalls, they are the gig people, they are the farmers, the rice farmers, the smallholders, the nelayan. A large group, 6.5 million people who are not saving any money probably. They're earning less. And even the EPF, we know only about 20% of the people currently paying EPF are going to make it to 240,000 at the time of retirement. That's what EPF says. Then you add, if you look at 16.6 in the working population, that age group has got about 22.5 million people. Between 20 and 65 is 22.5. 16.6 are working. Maybe 1.5 are students. There's another 4 or 5 million people there who are not in the workforce, formal or non-formal. Housewives, people with disability. So you've got a huge group of people who don't have, and I think this is one of the biggest problems for the aging population is the lack of financial support. This is the biggest problem, And in fact, yesterday, I'm from the PSM, I'm Kumar, I'm from the PSM. We went with 45 NGOs to give a memorandum to the Prime Minister asking for an old age pension of $500 a month for all those above 65 who don't have income, for the 70% of the population. And so maybe my question to the other people here, the groups here is, maybe we should all get together and add our voices, because this, I think, is one of the biggest, if not the biggest problem, I think, that old people face, is this lack of money. And actually, it can be quite heartbreaking, because they rely on their children And in the B40, the children are already struggling to meet their own family problems, the children and all that. And a lot of these people from older people in B40 families, I have a very bad time, they lose their dignity. So I'll urge maybe if people here can also give their voice to this campaign, and I'll leave a copy of the letter that we gave to the Prime Minister with the registration desk. You just pick up a copy and have a look. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. I think another question.
Thank you. My name is Padmawati Krishnan. I was a former senator representing persons with disabilities, and I'm also a life member of Malaysian Healthy Aging Society, a council member. And my question is, I'd like to focus on the plan of action which has been mentioned by the panelists. We noticed that, we realized that CSOs and also the academia have done a lot of research, and they are the ones who give the input to the government, and the role of the government is to have a plan of action. And usually the timeline, the tenure of it is usually about 10 years. Now, in the plan of action, it's a very detailed, they've got indicators, they've got a time frame, and also responsible agencies to carry it out. But we were also told that the implementation is important. But who does the monitoring and evaluation whether or not the indicators, the targets have been achieved, targets and outcomes have been achieved? We don't have any result. Nobody who monitors and comes up, with a report saying that how many percentage of the indicators have been fulfilled. So then again, after the 10 years, another new plan is drawn up where all the past goes into the new one. And here I feel that we now need to talk about accountability. Who will be responsible to tell the public that the indicators have been fulfilled? I suggest that a body is formed by stakeholders to do the monitoring and evaluation of these plan of action. So I think then only we will see that, okay, even yesterday, the dementia plan and all that, the achievement, we will not know. Because it's a nicely documented, very, very thick, very detailed, but then again, results are not there. I mean, we all know about it. So this is my suggestion. I hope it can be taken up. Thank you.
Okay. Maybe I just comment. I think Padma, the Sohakam is going to have a roundtable discussion with all the stakeholders to crystallize what we have got from this engagement in the forum today. So there will be further detailed engagement afterwards. Thank you. Any other question? Any comment about the poverty among older people from the panelists?
I just want to comment on this social pension. We in NESCOM also advocate some sort of social protection, especially we feel that the government has a responsibility. Right? We elect the government, they have the responsibility to look at those group, unfortunate group, that actually needs help. All right? First, of course, senior citizen depends the family. Depends on your relative or whatever it is. Depends on your personal saving, whether it is EPF or pension. But then there is a big group, all right? The informal worker. Now there is this gig economy, all right? They don't have formal work, but they take piecemeal of work. Where does their pension? They don't have any saving. So the government have to look seriously. In fact, I am fortunate to be able to meet up with people from various countries. Thailand, Philippines, they are all coming up with social pension. Sorry. All right? No doubt, small amount. All right? Something like even $10 for in the Philippines. But that is a start. All right, so the government have to seriously look into this big issue. Even the EPF people, now most of the money are withdrawn due to COVID. All right, and as you say, hardly 10% can have the enough fund to cover the next 20 years of their life. All right, we did put up once to increase the retirement age to 62. But that is also being turned down by the highest authority in the government. So, and as our friend said, we have nice plan of action, but where is the monitoring? Where is the outcome? You plan to have 10 centers for this. At the end of the day, can you tell me I have 1 or 2, but not even mentioned? Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. I think time is catching up. I think we have to call this session to an end, and we'd like to thank all the panelists for a useful discussion. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih atas perbincangan sebentar tadi. Diminta panel dan Datuk Dr. Chu kekal berada di atas pentas. Dipersilakan semua ahli panel untuk menerima cenderahati daripada Suhakam. Terima kasih. Berikan tepukan kepada semua ahli panel dan Pesuruhjaya Suhakam Dr. Chu Chee Ming.